If you like your brutal revenge westerns with a sight of cold mountain vistas, I have just the film for you. This 2014 western takes the tropes of the genre, puts them in a snowy village set in the Alps, and gives you a film that's high on style and violence. I'm talking about the film The Dark Valley, which you can actually find streaming for free right now on Tubi and the Roku channel. This film opens up with a brutal scene that's really dark and almost like a horror film, where you see a young man and woman hiding, and they are found by this group of men who beat this guy and kidnap the woman and drag her out screaming. And it's dark and it's violent, and it immediately sets the tone of this film that it's not going to be a light-hearted western or your classic good guy, bad guy, ride off into the sunset kind of western. It's going to be a dark, cold, brutal film, and that's what we get. And immediately after that scene, we cut to the credits sequence where we see a lone figure riding on a horse through these beautiful mountain vistas. They're cold, they're isolated, which is really important to this film as well. And he is riding into the Alps. This man arrives in the village and he's seeking shelter for the winter, and he claims to be a photographer. Now, he's from America. This is an Austrian village that has very little outside communication. This is the mid to late 1870s. So seeing a photo camera and a photograph itself was crazy at the time. This was brand new technology for them, and these people have never seen anything like that. The theme of new innovation and new technology, new world versus old world, politics and belief systems becomes very important in this film later on, so you're going to want to stick around for that as I discuss the film further. He's put up in the house of a widow and her daughter Lucy, and he begins to survive in this village, helping out, taking pictures. What we quickly learn is that this isolated community is all owned and run by a man named Old Brenner, an old rich man, and his 6 power-hungry sons. Strange things begin to happen in this town. There's a horrible logging accident and one of the 6 brothers dies. Another one has his eyes poked out by a branch, and then he topples off a cliff and also dies. What we find out about the town, Old Brenner and his sons, is much darker than we ever thought. Now, in a lot of ways, this is a classic Western film. The theme of revenge is very common in most Western films. The whole scenario where a stranger rides into town to right the wrongs of the town and then rides out at the very end is also very common. And like a lot of Westerns, this film deals with the old ways of the West being overtaken by technology, by new ways of thought. A lot of films deal with these like old cowboys still hanging on to that traditional Wild West mentality as technology passes them by. Trains, automobiles, new weapons, and the isolated village and town being run by a corrupt rich person is not new. Lots of Westerns do this as well because that's a very easy to do bad guy. He's very easy to root against. He's wicked. He has everyone under his thumb. So it's really cathartic to see when that person goes down. So this film borrows a lot of classic Western tropes, but it does a good job of mixing things up and changing things to make this film feel fresh. Not only is the film set in a cold mountain town, which isn't fully unique because there are other films like The Great Silence that are set in the cold. This Western being set in the Alps is also very different, very unique situation, but it's just a very smart play because it gives you this realistic feeling of why this town is isolated, why no one leaves and no one really shows up, and why things remain the same there for so many years. So this film does follow a lot of Western conventions, and if you want to know what my top 5 Westerns are, I did a video on it a few weeks back. You can see the card pop up on the screen there. So check that out when you're done with this review, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to get more of these ratings, lists, and reviews. The film is stuffed with amazing visuals, and there's some awesome scenes in this film as well. The best scene to me of the whole film is the showdown between Greater and the 4 remaining brothers. And this scene perfectly showcases some of these themes I talked about, with new technology taking over old technology and the old way of thinking being surpassed by new ways of thinking. Later in the film, Lucy marries her fiance, and the Brenner brothers kidnap her because they're going to take her away and have their way with her. Greater saves her, and he tells the brothers that tomorrow at their house, they're going to have a showdown. Of course, they're not going to wait for that, so they go and seek him out at the remote cabin he's staying in. And what proceeds is a 4-on-1 shootout that is beautiful. It's dark, it's bloody, it's violent, it's stylistic because there are moments of slow motion and extreme violence. The music that comes in the film also doesn't feel like it fits, but it kind of creates an awesome mood and tone to it that I really liked. Even though this doesn't feel like the classic Western music that I usually love, like in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Once Upon a Time in the West, Unforgiven. It has a very different feel with words, actually, where you don't see that in a lot of Westerns. But it just fits, and you have these slow motion, violent, bloody scenes and this music playing, and it creates this sort of beautiful, almost beautiful, haunting atmosphere, but it's horrific to watch because people are just getting blown apart. Now, Grider shows up from America, and he has a Winchester repeating rifle with him. These people in the Alps, they still have 2-shot rifles that are breech loading. So you shoot 2 shots, you load it up, put it in, shoot 2 shots, load, put it in. The repeating rifle, depending on what model and what year this was set, can hold anywhere from 6 to 10 to 13, 14 bullets at a time. These people have never seen that rifle. They have no idea what it is or what's going on. In this shootout, you see Grider, when he's shooting, he tends to shoot 1 or 2 shots and then sort of hide behind somewhere, almost like pretending like he's reloading. So they never really get a sense of what's going on. And as he's taking these guys out, it becomes more and more brutal and violent. And you see the brothers constantly having to reload their guns. And the lead brother even says, he's only got 2 shots. We have 4 because there's 2 of them. And they run out there. He shoots 1 of them. The other one shoots, and Grider shoots again, 2 shots. And the brother stops, and he has a bit of a smile on his face because he knows he shot 2 shots. He shouldn't have any more. And Grider goes, boom, blows him away. It's an awesome scene that is, like I said, beautiful to watch, haunting. The music kicks in, the slow-mo, the blood, but also this sense of technology, the new ways superseding these old backwards thoughts and beliefs and systems that they have and sort of replacing everything. So what do I think of this film? I think what it has going for it is a strong classic revenge story that's reminiscent of many other Westerns. I think the shots and the mountains and some of the scenes in it are absolutely beautiful and stunning and very different from most Westerns. I think the story is interesting, and I think the shootouts are bloody and fun and well shot. Some of the negatives of the film, I think, is that you could kind of see where this was going way earlier in the film. You could kind of see the twists and turns coming, so I wasn't that surprised. Out of 5 stars, I think I would give this a 4.2 out of 5. It has a lot of the things you're used to seeing in Westerns, so you're not going to feel like this film came out of nowhere and is really weird. But it also introduces enough different things to make this film feel fresh and not just a retreat of all the other Westerns you've seen where they all kind of deal with the same stuff pretty much. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you like Westerns and films and top 5 lists and all the discussions I do, because I do them every week, and I would really love your support and to hear from you. Until next time, stop scrolling, start watching.